welcome back to today's broadcast. Let's look into what is going on in Ethiopia. In fact, Obasanjo, he has now went to Ethiopia to lie to them concerning the issue of Biafra and the issue of Nigeria. In fact, in this video, it is a very powerful video. Make sure you watch it to the end and for you to understand what is happening in the country. Just recently, the Ethiopia the Ethiopian country, they have a civil war between them and another ethnic group. But at the end, they call Obasanjo to address the quarrel, to address the problem that is happening in Ethiopia. But what he said there will shock you in this video. What he really said concerning Biafra and Nigeria and concerning what is going on in Nigeria, in fact, will shock you. It is something that you will even be asking yourself, what type of a country are we living? Why did Nigerians so corrupt to the extent that they are not even sharing their corruption to other countries for them to learn from them? And then, the Nigerian leaders, they are people that can never even be ashamed of their evil. They can never, no matter wherever they go, they will try to bring themselves up to claim that they are doing well. So, according to the headline, it says International Deception, Obasanjo Ethiopian Address, and the Global Corrupts of Biafra. In fact, it is very deception. It's a very global deception, and then an insult to the world, to Africa, to Nigeria, to Biafra. What he claimed that happens, and what happens after the war, during the war, and before the war, and what happens, and what the Ethiopian need to do, that they need to learn from, and they need to emulate the tactics that Nigerians use for the Biafran people. And that same issue that he's claiming that they did well to the side of Biafra, it is something that is still causing problem to date. In fact, just watch by yourself so that you understand what that is going on in the country. As you're about to watch, like, subscribe, and share for everyone to see things going on in Nigeria.
Hello and welcome to my channel. Recently, Obasanjo was in Ethiopia. I think it was a summit or a kind of gathering in Ethiopia to reconcile. Ethiopia also, I think they had civil war. So Obasanjo was brought to speak in that meeting. And I saw a lot of problems with what he said. And I think a newspaper in Ethiopia also raised alarm. Ethiopia is trying to, perhaps they are looking for a model to copy to reconcile their nation. And can you imagine? Nigeria of all. So Obasanjo spoke, he talked about certain things that we are going to look at. Let me start by playing Obasanjo's video. But the Ethiopian newspaper is warning Ethiopia, don't copy, because if, Obasanjo is telling Ethiopia how, they made things right after the war, how they reconciled this and that, and Nigeria became a place to be again, and Nigeria has been living in peace. Can you imagine? And the newspaper is warning Ethiopia, don't mind what you listen to. Don't copy that model. Meanwhile, let's play the video.
Mr. Prime Minister, let me thank you and commend you for the vision, the foresight, the courage, and the patriotism that led to this. There is similarity between Nigeria and Ethiopia, which you will allow me to bring out from the Nigeria point of view, and we can see how it compares with Ethiopia. We have the problem of a civil war. And I can say, you can say, that fighting a civil war is more difficult than fighting a foreign war. A foreign war you fight and destroy. A civil war you fight and build. Because you want to hold together. And that was our experience. Before the war, we made every effort to sustain political. We could not. Then we broke into war. During the war, we maintained what we call no victor, no vanquished. And not only that, we provided special condition, a special way of dealing with our brothers and sisters on the other side. And we have the honor, should I put it that way, of inviting international observers to watch and observe our civil war. We are the first in the world that were fighting a war and invited people to come and watch and observe how we fought the war. It is because of what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to bring our brothers, for whatever reason they were dissatisfied, we wanted to bring them back. After the war, we implemented the policy of no victor, no vanquished. We had what we call 3 R's: reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. We continue with the military rule. And at the end of the war, when we ended the war in the field, I brought my colleagues on the other side. Although the war had been technically ended on the 13th of January 1970, we had to bring the war to political end and formal end. Brought my colleagues to Lagos. And when I presented them to the head of state, I said, here are our brothers who have come back for redeployment. We did not see them as enemy. We saw them as brothers who have come back for redeployment. Of course, some of the senior officers could not be redeployed, but junior officers and other ranks, we were able to bring them and absorb them into the National Army. But even those that were not able to be reabsorbed, they were dismissed during the Civil War. We turned their dismissal to retirement, and they were paid retirement benefits. Then, what do we do with the political? Because the war is a failure of political. Now that the war is over, we have to bring the political back. And like other countries have done, and like we are doing here today, political conference, national dialogue, political dialogue, we call our own Constituent Assembly dialogue. And the preparation, similar to the preparation that the National Dialogue Commission here has embarked upon for the past 4 years. And at this juncture, I will want to commend the National Dialogue Commission for the work and the preparation they have carried out.
Anyway, that is where we have to stop on that video. Like I told you, it was in a conference in Ethiopia. I think the aim is at bringing national healing, and they wanted to look at the Nigerian model. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about what happened. If you want to really copy Nigeria, you need to understand what happened before you start copying Nigeria. Like I said earlier, a newspaper is warning already, a newspaper in Ethiopia. So Obasanjo really tried. There was while Obasanjo came back as a civilian president, the Oputa panel and the rest, I think there was an attempt at reconciliation. But aside that, let's properly look at what happened. When Obasanjo tried, did other people tried? That is what we are going to look at right now. Let me tell you, I had someone say Obasanjo is teaching Ethiopia the wrong lesson about Biafra. So Ethiopia, please listen to me. former President Olusegun Obasanjo just met with the Prime Minister, and you saw people in that summit. And like you saw, he reportedly told him lessons from how Nigeria handled the Biafra war. I thought, like Obasanjo said, it was like a wrestling match. They invited people to come and watch how they are killing. Can you imagine what they said? They invited people to watch because it was a very sweet thing. They were not shooting at humans, they were shooting at animals. They invited people to come and watch. Obasanjo said a lot of things, but here is the problem. The lesson he is teaching is the wrong lesson. Because what Nigeria did after Biafra was not peace. It was repression with better PR. And if Ethiopia copies us, I mean Nigeria, they will be dealing with the same problems in 50 years. Here we're going to explain everything in detail. What happened? According to Addis Standard newspaper, before Ethiopia started its national dialogue, Abiy Ahmed met Obasanjo. Obasanjo told him about Nigeria's civil war from 1967 to 1970. He talked about the no victor, no vanquish, as you also saw him did here. He presented it like, we fought, we won, but didn't humiliate anyone. We kept Nigeria together. Now, when you look at that on the surface, that sounds good. That sounds like wisdom from an elder. Okay? Depending on how you see it. But the newspaper article is warning Ethiopia. Be careful. Don't treat Nigeria's post-war model as a blueprint. Because there are things Obasanjo will not tell you. There are things Obasanjo will not tell you. Now, coming to that of the no victor, no vanquished, let's talk about it. The idea was to prevent more division, okay? To rebuild the country. And yes, Nigeria did not break apart. We remained one country, Abi. But let's be honest about what happened after. Number one, people lost properties and businesses. Number two, people who had money in banks were given only £20, no matter how much they had before. And number three, infrastructure in Southeast was destroyed and never properly rebuilt. Even there are still traces in Enugu today. Damages of the Civil War, which is almost 60 years ago. Then you're talking about the number four. Political representation was killed. Now, the issues that caused the war, marginalization, inclusion, justice, was never fully addressed. Okay? It's about 56 years later. Why are people still talking about Biafra? The pro-Biafra movement are still active today. If there was truly no victor, no vanquished, why are we still having this conversation? And by the way, if Nigeria wants to know if whatever they did worked, they should come in a conference, they should arrange for a conference, and people will air their views. And are they going to respect the views of the people? The only thing keeping Nigeria, I'm telling you the fact today, what is keeping Nigeria today is force, weapons, the armed forces. That is what's keeping Nigeria today. If you allow people to decide by themselves, no war, nothing, people will quit, people will leave. So it's not as if there was a peace process that worked, that is perfect, that has kept people, oh, we love this nation, oh, we love... No. Why Nigeria has not split is because what is holding Nigeria is force. Force, that has the backing of the British people. The force, military force, that is what is holding Nigeria. It is not because the people really liked it. If not, allow people to decide in a referendum. Let's see. Allow people to decide. Let's try. And afterwards, you could be able to say, what holds or what is holding Nigeria. If they go out there and we reconcile, oh, the way we did it, oh, everybody now loved it, and Nigeria is better than anywhere. We love it. So, no victor, no vanquish was a good slogan, but it was just a slogan. It was not the reality on ground. So here is why I'm saying this is a bad lesson for Ethiopia. Obasanjo is telling Ethiopia to learn from this. Obasanjo is going through its own national dialogue right now. They have issues in Tigray, Oromia, Amhara, Ethiopia. They are trying to hold the country together. And they are looking at a Nigerian format. Now, if Ethiopia copies Nigeria and only focuses on territorial unity and ignores justice, they will make the same mistakes. The Addis Ababa Standard article, newspaper, said it clearly. Ethiopia needs 4 things. 1, accountability for what happened during the war. Accountability for what happened during the war. 2, justice for victims. 3, recognition of different historical experience. Then the 4th one, genuine political inclusion. Not this one you hear it, people tell you to your face all the time, Igbo man will not be president. Now, if you just say the war is over, let's move on without doing those 4 things, you are not making peace. You are just pausing the war. You are, you know what we call to press pause on a playing audio. It pauses. It later continues when you depress. That is what Nigeria did. And that is why 56 years later, the wound is still open. Look, I am in Nigeria and I am saying this with respect. The Biafra war was not 2 equal sides having a disagreement. From our perspective in the eastern part, it was a war of repression. It was backed by foreign powers who did not want the region to live because they have the way of milking us. Foreign powers, a lot of forces, different countries backed Nigeria. So for you to now turn around and use that war as a lesson in reconciliation, that is dishonest. Very dishonest. It is like someone who broke a leg, put a bandage on it and never went to the hospital. Then 50 years later, the leg still hurts. The leg is still bleeding. And that same person is now telling another person, copy how I treated my leg. Copy how the way I did my leg. The leg is still bleeding. The leg is still with problems. That is a bad lesson. Obasanjo can say we kept Nigeria together. And yes, that is true. But at what cost? At the cost of unresolved pain that we are still paying for today. Ethiopia, if you copy that model, you will have the same results. Peace on paper, but anger underneath. Here is what Ethiopia should do instead. Don't copy Nigeria's forget and move on approach. Instead, face the truth about what happened during the war. Give justice to victims, even if it is uncomfortable. Include all groups in the real political power, not just on paper, and rebuild areas that were destroyed fairly. Igbos rebuilt their place. True struggle. Ending the war is not the same as solving the problem that caused the war. And Nigeria proved that. Ethiopia does not have to repeat our mistake. So this is my message to Ethiopia and to Obasanjo. Don't use Biafra as a model for peace. Don't use Biafra. Use it as a warning of what happens when you don't do real healing. Nigerians are still dealing with the consequences today. We don't want Ethiopia to go through the same thing 50 years from now. So Ethiopia, there is a proverb in Igbo, I don't know how to explain it. Meanwhile, viewers, what do you think? Should Ethiopia copy Nigeria's post-war approach or avoid it? Drop a 1 for avoid it and drop a 2 for copy it in the comment section. And if you agree that real peace needs justice, not just slogans, like this video and share it. Subscribe because I will keep tracking what comes out of Ethiopia's national dialogue. This is Azoka OJ. Truth matters even when it is uncomfortable. I will see you in the next video.
Things is happening. In fact, it is a total disgrace and a total fallout of it all, because you know that the country you rule, according to what really happened, the country you rule never accept to be one, and they never accept to love themselves, to unite. What we see that is uniting the country, it is because of the British, the force, the military force, and also the oil, the Niger Delta oil that is holding the country. Any day the oil ended, you will see the country will end. By then, everybody will start saying, let's decide our fate. Even though Gowon said it during the war when he was fighting, that he looked into that once the Biafran take over the oil, they are going to take over the whole of Africa. Not even West Africa, but the entire Africa as a whole. They are going to ride everyone. That is why they keep fighting them, so that they will take control of the oil basin. And today, that is what is still going on. The country we live, nobody accepts one another. Nobody love one another. Nobody even accept to become Nigeria. Nobody. They have tried it many times and in many ways, that they have seen that the country, nobody love one another. So why still claiming and they badging on claiming that Nigeria so much love themselves to the extent that they can even do everything and to make sure that Nigeria is being one. The only people that used to claim that Nigeria is one is only the politician. Those that is embezzling the money, taking the money, and they're doing many things with people's tax. That are the people that will be claiming that Nigeria is one. But as for the poor people, they don't see themselves living in Nigeria. They see themselves living in a different country because they don't believe in one Nigeria. That is what is happening. In fact, a lot is going on. A lot is going on. Just that those our leaders, those people that call themselves our leaders, whenever they find themselves in the audience of people, then they will start giving address that never match with what is going on in the country. Even though him as Obasanjo, if you ask him, the Nigeria, are they living fine? Is there anything like poverty in Nigeria? They will say no. That everybody is eating, enjoying, and they laughing. No thing is like poverty in Nigeria. But everybody know what's happening. And if you ask him, do you have anything like terrorists in the country? Like Godus, Fulani, Rakulawa, Boko Haram, Swap. He will tell you, no, all of them, they are friends. That everybody's living well. Nothing is happening. That is how all of them used to be. They will go out and they will paint everything to look as if the country is living well, but they are not living well at all. In fact, a lot is going on. Let's see what is going on in Finland, and let's listen to David Masanga. Let's listen what he said about the Nigerian and about the Saman Ekpa issue that is going on in Finland.
Thank you very much, all of you, those who have been following us, who have been following me. I took interest on the international scene, in this case of Finland versus Mr. Simon Ekpa, because I wanted to tell the world how things have and how things work in Africa. As a technical person behind the international scene, behind the scene, technically I'm in Helsinki here today. I've informed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that I am around. I've written my letters, I've campaigned, I've told them I've already gone to the European Court of Human Rights, shouted,
and told the people that these people were they connived. They wanted to connive to take our brother, Mr. Simon Epa, quietly out of this country. That's why you saw some time back the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs came here several times with the Minister of Internal Affairs with a jet ready. And you see, one of the things of the European democracies, a country like Finland will not stop you as a peacemaker. I'm a peacemaker and an international legal expert on matters of this nature. Finland was one of the countries that started mediation around the world. I don't know why Finland got into a trap of a country, a bankrupt state, a state where the Attorney General Malami was part of the terrorist ring of Boko Haram that actually implicated people. Why I'm at the same time smiling is when I look, we don't want to go into the details of the security details, classified information that I know should not be given to the public. But this case, looking at the top layer of it, is hollow, it's shallow, it's very, very shallow, narrow in analysis, narrow in shallow in intelligence gathering, fake people, fake everything. And I think the next stage I'm going to take from this angle is the stage of taking another leap across into the International Criminal Court. I think I need to call the then Minister of Defense, General Musa, Commander of the Army, because I know why I'm saying so. When the other documents come out, some of them that I need to take this matter across to call Buhari is dead, General Musa is alive, and Malami is alive. We need to call them. They must be accused for perjury, very serious perjury in Netherlands, in of the courts. So it is up to the lawyers now, those out there in all your Biafrans, to seek to find out why lies were told. As you saw yesterday, Simon himself came out to say they are choosing a wrong man in court because there is no evidence pins the gentleman on the ground. It is very interesting, shallow. A case where the accuser, the man who accused you, the accuser has run. Morope, you see real running is nowhere to be seen, not even a diplomat, not even a small diplomat or security attaché is in the court from Nigeria. It shows you that they told lies and they have put this good country called Finland into chaos. They have put it into a very terrible situation that makes us look like we are the most stupid people on planet. Ladies and gentlemen, it makes us Africans. What? You see, for the people, for the president of Finland, I want to address you. Nigeria is a country that does not abide by any court orders. I have been to Arusha court. Here, everything was set for me to listen. I went to a court in Gambia, Banjul. Nigeria never appeared. I went to Arusha court only to be told that we are not coming because we never signed and deposited the instruments in court. Hi. A court in Kenya ordered that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu be brought back to Kenya because he was abducted without the Kenyan government knowledge. Nigerian judge did not listen to that at all. He went ahead, sentenced Mr. Nnamdi Kanu to life. This court here, and I want to appeal to President Stab. When you came to East Africa, I was listening to your speech in Dar es Salaam. I was in the audience. You didn't see me. I listened to your speech of mediation, dialogue, peacemaking. Finland is known for peacemaking. You played a very big role in ending the Second World War, getting the boundaries where Ukraine and other people are fighting. It was done in these places. You are the people, you pushed for this mediation so that the world ends. Why don't you take one step back and say, Nigeria, what are you doing? People there, Christians, are being murdered. Christians are being slaughtered in huge numbers, and not by Simon Epa. It is by the Fulani jihadists. It is documented. I've presented you. We have presented this evidence to court, documented by international institute, by international security institutes across Africa, with dates on when Fulani herdsmen and jihadists slaughtered people, invaded. We have a lot of evidence that we have collected over time about the killings that take place. This is all evidence. So when a country avoids to look at evidence and looks at profit, then we have to take it to the European Court of Human Rights for the judges there, the 11 judges, to sit down and look at us, or the 27 judges of the European Court. All of them. Out of the 27, I bet I would get 25 who would agree with me that the case of Simon Epa should not have taken place.
Oh yes, this man is trying. The case of Simon Epa should not have taken place at the first place. Had they been to understand what is going on in Nigeria. I don't know. All those things, it just a proof from the government only. They just give them contracts to work for them. And all those things is the reason why they keep doing what they are doing. And they keep holding someone up because of the contracts Nigeria gave to them. All those things, it is the reason. Because according to them, that Simon Epa was blocking the contract and the international markets they have between them and Nigeria. It's because of Simon Epa. But now, Simon Epa have now left the window, not the door. Then the next thing is that for them to be doing whatever they want to do with the government. Everybody knows what is going on. Everybody knows the truths about the country. If you come to the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, the international body have given Nigeria many times sanction, many times, to the extent that James John, the one of U.S. Congress, and Ted Cruz, and many of them have come out to speak to the Nigerian government for them to release Nnamdi Kanu, to the extent that James Jones even going to the essence of shutting down the aid that they used to give to Nigeria because of Nnamdi Kanu that has not been released. And if you go to the court have given order for them to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but they never abide by the courts until they now wait and they search for Omotosho, and they give it Omotosho some money and some things behind it. That is why Omotosho did what he did. After then, they now accept. But other ones, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been winning them. They never accept. Both the one in Kenya, both the one in Nigeria, the one in Enugu, and the one in Abuja, and many of them, they never. But there's only one that Omotosho claimed that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu failed. Is the one that they accept. So all those saying is part of it. What is going on in Finland today is because of injustice and because of what is happening. And all those saying is the issue why people keep crying and keep calling for separation of the country, because of injustice, marginalization, and many more. Mostly the issue of unaliving people every day in the country. And I believe nobody wants to be in a country where you cannot go out. You cannot go out on the streets just to buy something. Before you know, people you don't know about will come. They will unalive you. They will buy you in the name of they're a foreigner. But once you want to revenge, you want to take action against what they did to you, the government will come and sack you and take away everything you have. That is it. That's like that. Obasanjo going to Ethiopia to claim and to say what is all lies, because there he went there to lie against what is going on in Nigeria. They should have asked him what is still going on as it is today in the eastern region of the country. What is still happening there? What is still happening in the middle belt as of today? What is still going on in Yorubas? Because in the north, everybody is now divided everywhere in the country, because the country is no more having one mind. Everybody is now saying, let me go, let me go. What is going on in the country? In fact, I'll like your comment down below, like, subscribe, and share for everyone to see things going on in Nigeria. Say thank you for watching.